Check out the news and Wowhead. Excited to hear your thoughts. All right, let's take a look. Blizzard has provided a preview patch 10.15, including a whole new specialization for Direct Theory Evokers and a mega dungeon. Wow, they're really trucking along. Augmentation Evoker Spec. Third Evoker Spec confirmed. Take me to worldofwarcraft.com. Bolster your allies. They're doing it. Bolster your allies with the Augmentation Evoker specialization. Emberthal and Abyssian are working together to release the Black Dragonflight essence that has been siphoned from the Drakthir during their long stasis, unlocking memories and powers forgotten to them. The results of their efforts will be felt by all Drakthir Evokers. They'll gain access to a brand new specialization, Augmentation, available immediately in 10.15, Fractures in Time. Imbues allies with the might of the Black Dragons, bends time and fate in their favor with bronze magic. Augmentation is a new DPS role with a twist. They use the essence of the Black and Bronze Dragonflights to amplify the abilities of nearby allies. The playstyle for this spec involves empowering your allies with a variety of beneficial effects. Some can be cast directly on your allies, others are tied to using your damage-dealing abilities effectively. Interesting, okay. They deliver their damage in a wholly unique way. They act as force multipliers, increasing their group's capabilities and damage output significantly. How do you balance that? That's a them problem, I guess. Certain augmentation abilities buff either your whole party or specific members. Many have smarter proximity-based auto-targeting, so you're maintaining focus in the battlefield and enemy selection. Ah, yes, enemy selection. I know what they mean, but it's just funny to see it said like that. You will still be able to target specific party members if you desire. Plenty of freedom to bolster your allies as you see fit, so you can play favorites. Augmentation makes use of familiar capabilities like spending essence, using mobility, and making use of empowered spells. Sample abilities for augmentation should give you an idea of what each aspect of magic brings to the table. Black magic focuses on raw power increases and forceful outbursts of earth and might. Bronze magic's all about bending time, changing fate, shifting timelines to tremendous effect. Ebb and Might, 1.5 second cast, 30-second cooldown. Gives 4 nearest allies primary stat by percentage of your own. Causes your eruption to deal more damage for 10 seconds. Some of your other spells extend the duration of these effects. Eruption replaces Disintegrate. 2-second cast costs 3 essence. Splits violent eruption beneath an enemy's feet. Deals volcanic damage. Is that new? That must be new. Volcanic damage. Split between them and nearby enemies. Not fire damage, volcanic. Increase the duration of your active Ebb and Might effects. Upheaval, 2.5 second empower, 40-second cooldown. Gather earth and power beneath your enemy's feet, send them hurtling upward, dealing volcanic damage to them and nearby enemies. Empowering expands the area of effect. Increases the duration of active Ebb and Might. Breath of Aeons, 1.5 minute cooldown, replaces Deep Breath, fly to the targeted location. Exposing temporal wounds, owie, on enemies in your path for 10 seconds. Nothing like time travel wounds. Temporal wounds accumulate a portion of damage dealt by your allies and then crit the enemy for that amount at the end of the duration. What do you mean critically strike the enemy? Not a me problem. Increases the duration of your active might effects. Okay. Access to a brand new spec tree. Augmentation evokers can choose to further spec in bronze or black, as well as discover new ways to power up their allies. So, attune yourself to the essence of the black or the bronze. Black gives you movement, maximum health or movement speed. Oh, I was about to say cute. That'll be useful. Protect an ally with explosive dragon scales. Increases their armor by a percentage of your own. Melees against them cause a scale to explode. Ooh, that's kind of cool. It's like an earth shield, but it's like a spicy earth shield. Can conjure a pair of Wyrm stones. One for your target ally and one for yourself. Activated by the bearer to transport them to the other location if they're within 100 yards. Ooh, weird. I don't even know how you're going to go about using that. Augmentation evokers offer a unique opportunity to delve into a playstyle never seen before in World of Warcraft. While we're still working on some aspects of this new paradigm, like introducing some new combat log hooks so the add-ons community websites can effectively measure your performance, for example, we hope you've enjoyed this early look at it. We'll see you in the Dragon Isles. All right. I don't know how they're going to balance it, but I guess they'll figure it out. They must think they can do it. God, they continue the Asian naming convention for the Evoker specs. Preservation, devastation, augmentation. Yeah, that's good. Worried that it'll become mandatory. Yeah, isn't that what happened in Classic? Also, you guys are falling over here. Stand up straight. There you go. Isn't that what happened in Classic with, like shaman buffs and paladin buffs and something? It was just like they had to be there. I guess at least the augmentation of Ogre has like something to do for their own damage. There's more news. That's true. That's true. There is more news. Fractures in Time. Be original. 10.15. Look at them progressing through their roadmap. Fractures in Time Summer with it. Wild adventurers breach Neltharian's secret laboratory in Abyss. New patch in the PTR, new Drakthir spec, new mega dungeon, and much more. What does the image say? Image says mega dungeon, Drakthir spec, public event time rifts. They're gonna have to really sell me in public events. I don't know, man. Questline and dailies, whelp daycare. Okay, all right. I think you're talking. Dragon riding event, warlock race updates. Oh, more races for warlocks. For a moment, I thought we're going to put all the warlocks on a big old track. You've seen snail racing. You've seen dragon racing. Get ready for warlock racing. Warlock pet customizations. Okay. Returning player improvements. Gotcha. Neat. Okay. New Evoker spec. Augmentation. Here, let's make sure. There you go. Read more about the new spec in the preview article. We read that. Good. How do I feel about this? I feel very wait and see. I feel nothing. I feel ambivalent. It looks cool. I have not questions, but basically I think I'll feel better about it. Well, I don't have to feel better about it because I don't have to play it. I'm a preservation evoker. I'm a healer. This is not a healing spec, so it's mostly just... And it doesn't really seem like it would be much of like an outdoor solo play spec either, does it? Like, it seems like it will shine most in group content. You're not... Like, I'm sure you can augment yourself, but probably to somewhat limited effect, so... It mostly just seems like kind of an interesting thing to mess around with. But I don't know if... I don't see it massively impacting my life. New mega dungeon, Dawn of the Infinite. It also seems like they're mostly, and I guess I need to look through their talents and stuff, but it seems like they're mostly augmenting people's damage, as opposed, they're not as much augmenting people's healing. At least that's what I got from the article. I may be misunderstanding. New mega dungeon, Dawn of the Infinite. This is a pretty screenshot. Look, it's Chromie, and then it's blue-haired Chromie. Infinite Dragonflight. Have worked hard to see their ultimate goal of triggering the transformation of Nosdarmu into Murazond. 8 boss, mythic only, mega dungeon. You'll fight a Ridicron and Galakron, work to sustain Azeroth's timeline, put things to rights once more. You betcha. Join together for time rifts. Push back against the waves of minions. Ooh, hang on. Time streams have become a bit more unstable with recent events, and as the boundaries between the timelines weaken, minions... Push back against waves of minions. Plug the hole to set time waves straight again. Okay. That's fine. Eon's Fringe? Undertake new repeatable content. Settle time waves. Solve the problems brought about by their instability. Sounds like world quests. Daily quests. Something like that. Weekly quests. Whelp daycare. Hold on. The dragons have more eggs than they can handle. They've called in the crew at the Little Scales Daycare to help. The crew quickly finds itself overwhelmed, has asked for a little help from their friends, you. Guide 5 dragon whelps as they grow and learn about the dragonflights, earn renown, and more. Aww. Warlock class expands to new races. The Warlock class will become available... Holy moly, what? In fractions of time, the Warlock class will become available to Night Elves, Draenei, Lightforged Draenei, Pendaren, Kultiran, Tauren, High Mountain Tauren, Mag'har Orcs, and Zandalari Trolls. Warlocks will also be able to undertake a new quest line, starting with the quest Beginning Impositions, which will unlock a new Impet customization. Players will be able to visit the barbershop to customize their pets. Awesome. That's so funny. How does LFD Warlock make any sense? Just let it happen. Just let it wash over you. I mean, I've always kind of wanted a Draenei Warlock because you could really do a cool kind of Eridar vibe, even though I know that's like not what they are, but like, you know, Night Elves can be mages now. What would I do? Draenei Warlocks, man. Draenei Warlock's the move. That's so good. More class balance and tuning coming from mages, rogues, holy paladins. Yeah. Fractions and Times making its way to the PTR soon. Oh, that's cool. I don't know. This excites me more than the Evoker thing because I know what Warlocks are. And because I think that this is very funny that they can just be anything. Breaking the fantasy a bit. There's lore behind the Night Elf mages though. Yeah, I mean maybe they'll add some story to kind of explain that. Cultian Warlocks make kind of sense. Normal humans can be Warlocks already. Yeah, some of these things I don't really like. Magcourt Orcs is another one where it's kind of, I don't know, against their thing. But I think that one of the things that they're kind of, I don't know if this is something they're doing or just something that's happening in my brain. A character of a given race in WoW doesn't have to necessarily be completely aligned with all of the tenets of that race anymore. Like, in the game, there's been a long history of, I'm just talking out of my butt. I feel like, in my imagination, there's been a history of NPCs that have races or that have class race combos that are not represented in their, like, they're not part of like the vibe or the rules. But, you know, you talk to them and they're like, yeah, I'm a rebel. I don't care what the rest of my race thinks. I'm doing this. And I don't see any reason why we can't do that, right? Like, maybe it's super taboo for a Draenei to start messing around with demons, but does that mean they can't? Does it mean if they go and start doing some ritual, you know, summonings that the Twisting Nether is going to be like, no, you don't qualify, right? Like, just a more individualistic kind of, that was not that cool. A more individual kind of vibe. This is interesting. I'm going to have to mess with this, the augmentation evoker. I mean, that looks pretty cool. I know it's not a tank spec, which is what a lot of people wanted. But it's different. It's fascinating. Is it going to be mandatory? Will people be able to finish dungeons without one? Definitely need more support specs that are not healers. Yeah, I think they'll probably, I mean, they've redesigned specs pretty drastically before, so I think they can probably get away with like doing something kind of wild. And they do it for a patch. And if it turns out that it's just either impossible to balance or you have to bring one to the group or you can't bring one to the group and it's just like something that they can't quite find a good spot for, then they can redesign it and just make it like a normal DPS spec that has like a group of like a PI or something like that. If it doesn't go well, it's not like they've ruined the game forever. They can always, you know, do something else later if they have to, but I'm glad that they're willing to try it. They're willing to take some class design risks.